Hello, welcome back to the second video on Code Composer Studio. My name is Aaron, and in this video we're going to look at how to create a new project in Code Composer Studio. I'm going to show you the steps you're also going to need to take to set up that project. At the end, I'm also going to show you how to import a project into Code Composer Studio. So let's begin. In Code Composer Studio, you can see I've already opened it up, and I've selected the workspace to be on the C drive, the temp folder, which is the default workspace location. There's three ways that we could start a project in Code Composer Studio. The first way is on this Getting Started tab, clicking on New Project. Or we could go to the taskbar and click on CCS Project. Or alternatively, we can go File, New, CCS Project. Let's do this one. Let's click on it. When you click on it, you're going to be greeted with the new CCS Project Wizard. This is how we're going to give a project name to our file and set up connections to our microcontroller and stuff like that we're going to need to do. First, let's select a target. So our device is a Piccolo 28027, so it's in this 2802X Piccolo family. Next, we're going to have to actually click the device that we're going to be using. So we're using the TMS 320 F28027 microcontroller. So let's click on that. Next, we're going to need to define a connection to our microcontroller. Always use the XDS100V2 USB debug probe. Now, let's give a project name. Let's just call it New Project. You can always check the compiler version here. There's only one option for us, but if you're using another computer, for example your home computer, always make sure that you've got the newest compiler version selected. Double check that you've got empty project with main C selected and click Finish. As you can see, Code Composer Studio has created a project for us. We have here our main.c file where our code will go, and over here under the Project Explorer tab we have all the parts of our project. So let's go through some of the steps that we're going to need to do to set up our project. If you right click on your project, go down to Properties, you can have a look at the properties of your new project. Here you can see that we still have our connection that's correct and our device selected. We have our compiler version. Down here we have something called the linker command file. Now the linker command file tells Code Composer Studio where we want to store our program in the memory of our microcontroller. And this particular linker command file will save it in the RAM. We don't really want that for our labs. We want to save it in the flash. So if you click on Browse and you go to Search Include and you type F28027, we're going to use this one here, F28027.cmd. This linker command file, as I said, is going to save our program to our flash of our microcontroller. Now we're going to need to define search paths for our header files and library files. If you go over here to C2000 compiler and go down to Include Options, we're going to add an include search path. An include search path is going to let our project in Code Composer Studio know where our header files are located. And header files contain the definitions of the commands that we're going to use. For example, in some of the labs, we're going to be using the GPIOs. Now to initialize the GPIOs, we need certain commands. And our header file is going to tell us what those commands are. If we click on this little add, we browse. Now the search path for the header files is located on the C drive, TI, Control Suite, Device Support, F28002X. If you just select that and go OK. OK again, there you go. Now we have our header files included. Now there's also another include search path that you're going to have to add. Probably not for your examples, but maybe for some of the laboratories. So if you go Add, click Browse, it's in a similar location, TI, Control Suite, this time Development Kits, and then C2000 Launchpad. Okay. So now we have our header files included. The last thing that we're going to need to do is to include a library file. Now a header file contains the commands. The library file actually contains the code to execute those commands. If you go across here on your left to C2000 Linker, File Search Path, we're going to include a library file. Click Add, Browse. The search path is on the C drive, TI, Control Suite again, device support, F2802X, version 230, F2802X common, lib, driver library, driverlib.lib, sorry. Click OK. We click OK. Our project is now set up and ready to use. So once you've done all these steps, you can copy and paste in the skeleton code for the laboratory and start completing the laboratory. So in this section, we're going to look at how to import an example project into Code Composer Studio. So if you remember in the last video, I talked about where you can find code examples. In this video, I'm going to show you how to import them so you can actually put them on your microcontroller and see how they work. If we go into Control Suite, expand the Control Suite menu, expand English, click on Devices, the device that we're using, the F2802X, and we go Code Examples. It's already open for us, it's convenient. Here, you have all of the examples that are easy to import. You click on the example, always make sure it's a software driver, and simply import the example project into Code Composer Studio, build the imported project, and then debug it, just as it says. So that's really nice and easy for us. But there's only a couple of examples that are laid out like that. All the other examples are in here, in this folder. So you can see there's a whole bunch of other examples. But if we click on these ones, it just brings us up with the folder. So we can have a look at the C file, but we can't import it in all the settings into Code Composer Studio. So we're going to need to do it another way. If you scroll over to File, you click on Import. Going to import a CCS project. Click Next. We're going to be able to browse for the CCS project that you want to import. If you click Browse, close all these so we can follow it ourselves. On the C drive, TI, F2802X, expand that, expand version 230, and expand F2802X example structs. This contains all those 35 plus examples that were in that folder. We also have the driver examples up here, but we're not going to use them. You're not really going to need to use them, just these example structs. So when you find the one that you want to import, for example, EPWM deadband, you click on the folder, you click OK, you click Finish. As you can see over here on the left, it's imported for us. If you double click on the C file, you can open up the C file and you can have a look through the main C file. And if you right click on it, click on Properties, click on General, you can include the connection before, which is the XDS100v2, and you'll need to change the compiler version to the newest one. Click OK. Now you'll be able to build that, download it to your board, and see how it runs. I hope that you found this video helpful in showing you how to create and set up a new project in Code Composer Studio. If you have any questions, feel free to add your demonstrators and to go back and rewatch this video if needs be. Thank you very much.